Prachi, what inspired you to do an MBA?
I remember getting counseled by you also when I was in my 10th grade and my 12th grade.
Why did you choose Harvard specifically?
Every time I moved to a bigger, better institution, like from Siliguri when I went to Hansraj College, Delhi University, then I went to McKinsey and then Axel. Every time I met some of the smartest people.
Education is just about marks.
Yes.
What's your perspective on that?
We have a very, very wrong concept of education here.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम अरुण अग्रवाल है एंड मैं एक ओवरसीज़ एजुकेशन काउंसलर हूँ। सिलीगुड़ी में मुझे 10 साल हो गए इस फील्ड में काम करते हुए एंड मैंने काफ़ी बच्चों को हेल्प किया है पूरे वर्ल्ड में एडमिशन्स लेने में। यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेलबर्न, लंदन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टोरंटो, एवरीवेयर। बट आज मैं बहुत ही ज़्यादा खुश हूँ। मेरे साथ एक स्पेशल स्टूडेंट है, मेरी काफ़ी क्लोज फ्रेंड की डॉटर है। आई हैव नोन हर फॉर लास्ट 7-8 ईयर्स एंड आज हम उनसे बात करने वाली एक ऐसी यूनिवर्सिटी की जो हर बच्चे का, हर इंडियन का ड्रीम होता है। येस, शी इज़ गोइंग फॉर हार्वर्ड एंड शी इज़ गोइंग फॉर एन MBA. So I'm very happy to say that she has got the visas, she has completed the entire process and she would be going for September 2025 intake. So I would love to introduce all of you to Prachi. So thank you Prachi for joining us today. I'm really, really happy, really excited to have you here. I mean,
Thank you.
please Prachi, please tell us about your journey, your student journey and how it all happened.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Uncle.
you.
Thank you. I am super excited to be here. I'll give a brief introduction. So, I'm Prachi. I'm a resident of Siliguri, born and brought up here. I went to school in Siliguri. Nirmala Convent School is my alma mater. I studied here till my 12th grade in Nirmala. Post which I went to study economics at Hansraj College in Delhi University. I studied there for 3 years and then joined McKinsey and Company as a business analyst. It's a consulting firm. It's a global consulting firm. I worked there for close to 2 years. And post that, I joined Accel, which is a global venture capital fund. We invest in early stage startups. So I joined Accel right after McKinsey and have been working at Accel right now. It's been 3 years. While working at Accel, I applied for my MBA to HBS, which was my dream school. And I'm super lucky to have gotten admission and I'll be joining HBS this fall, sometime in August or September. So, yeah.
Super, super. So Prachi, what inspired you to do an MBA and what was the entire process all about?
Sure, sure. So, I think the first inspiration came from, I think, the seniors and the mentors that I was exposed to throughout my journey, both academically as well as professionally. I remember getting counseled by you also when I was in my 10th grade and my 12th grade. So, a lot of these people had actually done their MBAs from prestigious universities across the world, and I could see the kind of impact that had on their personalities in making them more holistic, well-rounded individuals. And sort of that was the first inspiration to do an MBA. And then I think once I entered the workforce, it only strengthened my desire to do an MBA. And I'll give you an example. So every time I moved to a bigger, better institution, like from Siliguri when I went to Hansraj College, Delhi University, then I went to McKinsey and then Axel. Every time I met some of the smartest people, right? And what that did to me was it expanded my worldview. Just the awareness of what is even possible to do in this world.
The peer group matters a lot.
The peer group.
The way they think,
Exactly.
the goals in their life, they
Correct.
inspire you.
Correct. I think people, everything in life is all about people.
Yes.
Right? So,
Networking.
And you know, when you meet these people, you just feel that, you know, there is so much to this world that is unexplored, that is possible. Your dreams are no longer local, they become global in nature.
Yes.
And that is what these institutions did to me. And I think MBA and HBS specifically is a next logical step, I feel, in that journey, to give me a global perspective. I'm excited to make global friends who are possibly the smartest people from across the world, and through them gain perspective about the world. So that was my big inspiration and motivation to do an
So,
MBA.
as a counselor, I have always learned that most of the people think they education is just about marks.
Yes.
What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I have very strong views on that. I think we have a very, very wrong concept of education here. I also grew up thinking, believing that marks is everything. My friends would know I was a very studious kid. I was called a bookworm until my seventh, eighth grade, possibly. Post which there was some of this, again, some teachers in my school and some mentors and seniors who pushed me for extracurriculars. Like they pushed me to do debating, public speaking, and when I started getting on the stage, I started loving it, and I unlocked a new dimension of my personality. And I think everything that I did post that was a function of those skills, those soft skills that I'd gained. And I think, even when I went to Hansraj, for example, first few days I was very intimidated because all the peers in my college, a lot, of course, it is a melting pot of the entire country. So people
Country.
came from small towns, big
Yes.
cities. But I was intimidated by the best of the best students who had represented their schools in competitions internationally and
Yes.
all, right. And I, of course, felt that I was lacking that. But what helped me was just some of these soft skills that I had acquired in school, and my confidence, um, and just that faith that I can do it. And then, of course, 90% is, I feel, luck, but then that 10% is hard
So
work.
I assume, as a counselor, I've been telling so many of my parents
Yes.
that please understand the importance of extracurricular activities,
Yes.
things beyond the classroom. I think hearing it from you,
Yeah.
now parents would understand the importance
Yeah.
of it. So
Yeah.
again, coming down to you, so which are the offer letters you received from USA, and why did you choose Harvard specifically?
So I honestly only applied to two schools. One was Harvard and the other was Wharton. My reason for applying to these schools was majorly, so I was exposed to a lot of people from HBS and Wharton, alums from these schools, during my professional journey. And I like I had heard from them stories about their schools, and that's when I made up my mind that these are some of the best schools, and I wanted to target the best schools. I got offers from both these schools. I chose Harvard
Wow,
specifically.
that's great. Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
I chose Harvard specifically because Harvard has this unique method of where what they do, just for quick context, the professor is not just teaching concepts on class in the board theoretically, but the entire class is expected to come prepared on the case, and the entire class participates in the case and comes to an answer. What that does to you is that you build the confidence to present your point of view to a very diverse class. You learn the skills to be a good listener. You learn the skills to negotiate. A lot of these soft skills, which are super critical for you to actually become a leader, a business
Leader. A
person,
decision maker.
a decision maker. And life is all about decisions. I
Making.
think when we grow up, we realize that
Yes.
everything comes down to choices and
Yes.
decisions. Every
Yes.
split second, we are making
Yes.
choices, right?
Yes.
And the only thing that differentiates a really successful person from like someone who has not utilized their full potential is just the right choices that they've made. And I think some of these thinking abilities are developed through an MBA.
Yes.
Because of the curriculum and the manner in which it is designed. So yeah.
So where do you use? Where do you see yourself post MBA? What's your plan post MBA?
So I am so right now I'm in a venture capital business, which is we particularly invest in early stage startups. I truly enjoyed investing a lot and funding some of the ideas which will become the future of the
Wow.
country. In this process, I learned that I am more interested in the growth stage investing, which is when companies become slightly more mature and then want to sort of develop. So that is one career pivot in some manner. It's not a pivot necessarily, but it's a shift from early stage to more growth stage.
Super.
So I want to join growth stage investing
Super.
after, and I want to come back to India.
Good to
I
know.
want
Good to hear that. Pleasure
Yes.
to hear that. Okay.
I want to come back to India.
And serve India.
And serve India. I am very bullish on India, and the potential of some of the startups and the ability to make a difference in the country.
Super, super.
I feel like there's like a lot of smart entrepreneurs out there who are ready to hustle, doing some crazy work. So I want to be able to partner with them and
Super.
support
I'm
them.
glad to know, because even I had a similar journey. I worked in Japan. I did my master's from
Yeah.
UK. So after that, I decided to come back to India.
Yeah.
I had this feeling that I wanted to do something back
Yeah.
for the society,
Yes.
give back something to the
Yes.
society. There's a lot of people still doubt me. Was it a right decision or not? But by heart, I'm very happy.
Yes.
I'm able to make changes. I'm able to add some value to the life of my students and their family.
Yeah.
So I mean, as you said, so what's your take on the education system that we do follow here?
Yeah.
More on theory based, and you said that you will be in Harvard, you will be following more of case based. So
Case-based.
what's your take on the two different study
Yeah.
patterns that we
Yeah.
follow here and overseas?
Yeah. I think ultimately, see, when you join the workforce, you realize that theoretical things take you nowhere, right?
Yes.
Because you have to be able to, as I call it, do needle moving work, actually make a difference, right? And for that, you need to be able to like think, as we discussed, and for that, you need to be able to do things practically, and which is why I am very much in favor of a global MBA. Not to discount the Indian MBA
Yes,
process.
yes.
It has its own pros and cons. It has its own pros, but I was drawn to the global MBA from the experience of some of these people that I had met, and I prefer that kind of pedagogy more.
Super, super. And what were the hurdles you faced during your entire journey? And what do you think is the role of a mentor or a counselor
Yeah.
during the entire process?
I think it was very challenging, I have to admit. I would say the biggest challenge I faced was particularly in the application phase, because managing especially the HBS application is extremely extensive, and managing it with a high pressure job is a task. So there are multiple parts of the application. You have to get your resume in place, some essays, letters of recommendation, and you have to get your GMAT, GRE
Yes.
scores, right? So I think the big challenging part was managing it with this full-time high-pressure job. I wish I had gotten done with my exam earlier so that I would be, left with some more time. And the second big challenging thing were the essays. They require you to do a lot of introspection.
Yes.
They're not just like
No chat GPTs.
Correct. You can't possibly
Yes.
use chat GPT to.
They want
make
your
it up.
content.
Exactly. It has to be. The only thing that sort of differentiates people and makes your essays stand out is authenticity.
Yes.
So the more authentic your story is, the more likable you are. I think this is up in life as well.
I mean, that is what I tell to my, be what you are.
Yes,
You don't have to
yes.
be fake.
Yes.
Write down your thoughts, your
Yes.
process, be what you are.
Yes.
I mean, that's it. I believe that is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Authenticity is super important, and I think what happens is in our day-to-day life, we don't introspect so much about our lives, right?
Yes.
What this MBA forces you to do is introspect and come up with your deepest fears, your deepest strengths, and just open in front of them all aspects of your personality. And that was a little challenging, I would say, throughout the process.
Super. Thank you.
Yeah.
One question that I'm very keen on asking you is, what would be your suggestion to students who are watching this podcast about global education, about overseas studies? What would be your suggestion to all my students watching their podcast?
I would say one very tactical input is get done with your GMAT, GRE exams, whatever schools you want to target post sort of in the future for your MBA. If they require you to get this exam, I would highly encourage getting done with the exam while you're in college itself, so that it saves you a lot of precious time when you're working. And in looking, I mean, at a overall level, I will just tell what these schools are looking for, so it helps students tie the thing.
Yes.
These schools are factories for manufacturing leaders of the world.
Yes.
And they are looking for holistic personalities. So they want people who are not just one-dimensional, maybe good at ACADS or
Yes.
one-dimensional, good at one activity.
Yes.
They want people who have multi-dimensional
Multi-dimensional
personalities,
thinking.
right?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. So if I were to start with college, don't ignore grades for sure. Like a lot of times what happens is we get very chill and in college.
Yes.
Don't ignore grades because some of the best schools, if you don't have the grades, sometimes you don't make the cut. Second thing I would say is involve yourself in as many extracurriculars as possible. Of course, then figure out some of the things that you are extremely good at and then try to be the best at that. But don't miss out on exploring a lot of
Yes.
these activities.
Yes.
Expose yourself to as many
Yes.
of these activities. When you are at workplace, if you're joining workforce before your MBA, try to do needle moving work. Don't just focus on business as usual, but maybe act like an owner, think like an owner, and try to make a real difference in the company that you're working in. Because when you do that, you will have enough stories to talk about in your MBA. And I'm not I'm not asking anyone to do all of this just for an
Yes.
MBA. It will help you in life
As a
well.
person.
As a person. I think through the MBA process also I realized that all the things that they're looking for is something that someone should have as a part.
Experiences, real life
Yeah,
experiences
real
that they
life
could share.
experiences. Exactly.
In the classroom, they should bring that
Exactly.
experiences.
Exactly. Because what these schools are nothing without their people, right?
Yes.
What they're bringing together is some of the smartest minds of the country, putting them in one class and encouraging them to learn from each other.
Yes.
And you will only be able to share something if you have that.
With that.
So, as many experiences as you gather, you should sort of inculcate and then.
So
Yeah.
one of the ways that I always tell my students is travel as much as possible.
Yes.
The more you travel, you see
Yeah.
different people, different
Yeah.
thought processes. So traveling is also a kind of education.
Yes.
I mean, my daughter is just 6 years old, but whenever
Yeah.
I take her for a holiday,
Yeah.
I see every time she has learned something new.
Correct.
I see the self-development, I see the self-confidence. So these small add-ons actually make a big
100%.
personality.
Yeah.
But that's very, very
Yeah.
important.
I would say, like a lot of times people might have constraints on budget for travel. For that, I would say, internet is a big leveler as of
Excellent.
today.
Yes.
Watch as many like interesting interviews of people that inspire you.
Excellent
it's
suggestion.
Out
Yes,
there in
yes.
the internet, right? You can read about them, you can watch about them. And I feel every interaction should be an interaction from which you would have learned something, because every person is good at something.
Yes.
And they have something to offer.
Yes.
So whenever, I think it all comes down to being curious and genuinely wanting to
Yes.
learn.
Yes.
So every new person you meet, make it a habit to teach them something new and learn something new from them.
Thank you.
And that could be a great sort
Thank
of
you.
way to go ahead.
So my last question for the day would be, a lot of people say that we are in Siliguri, it's a tier 2 city or a tier 3 city. We do not have enough opportunities. And me being a counselor, I have counseled students from Siliguri who have been to all over the world. So in the era of internet, chat GPT, YouTube, I think it's a level playing ground.
Yeah.
So I need one input from you to give all my students. A lot of students have been using a lot of Instagram,
Yeah.
a lot of social media. They are consuming a lot of content.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that as a student, as a person from Siliguri? What would you tell them on how to utilize the social media or internet in the right way?
Yeah. I would say, so there's like lots of content out there on Instagram, Facebook, etc. What I try to do is time box activities. So it's very easy to get lost in just scrolling Instagram
Yes.
and looking at others' lives and feeling depressed. What I try to do is mostly Instagram is not on my phone. I try to only install it when I want to sort of just spend my time, get some dopamine hit,
And avoid notifications,
avoid
unnecessary notifications.
But I try to use more of LinkedIn. I try to use more of Twitter, and even Instagram is great for people who don't easily get distracted by lives of
Others.
celebrities and your friends. If that's not the case, even Instagram is a great place to be in, and YouTube. what you can do is these apps are very good at personalizing, right? So try to follow some interesting people. Maybe take out one day and make a list of all the interesting people that you want to follow and learn from. And just follow them, subscribe to their channels. And what that will do is that will personalize your feed and make it very concentrated. It takes time to do that, but over time, if you continue to do that, you will have a very
The
solid,
algorithm will support the content
the algos will support your content, your preferences, and that could be super valuable. And one big advice I would give is definitely build a reading habit. I have noticed this is lacking a lot here in
Yes.
a lot of people that I've interacted with.
Yes.
And this is a big thing that you will see in, you know, some of the people who have made a difference in the world.
Yes.
They read a lot.
Yes.
They read all sorts of content. So you have to figure out what you like, but Substack is a great channel, and there are a lot of these, you know, interesting publications. It could be the Economic Times or the Mints,
Yes.
or it could be some of the startup focused ones like the Ken or the Morning Context. There are a bunch out there. ChatGPT is there to sort
Yes.
of guide you today. But follow some of these, you know, interesting journals, interesting podcasts, interesting tools, and then try to upskill yourself every single day.
Thank you for answering that. I specifically asked this question to Prachi because lot of students I meet meet these days, they get misguided with
Yeah.
the wrong information on the
Correct.
social media.
Correct.
So the right and the wrong, both information is available. It's like a knife. It
Correct.
depends on how you want to
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the same way the internet is there, you have both the information, the right and the wrong.
Yes.
It's you who has to decide
Yeah.
what to see and what not to see. In my case, let's assume I have switched off all my notifications. I don't get any notifications on my phone.
Yeah.
So whenever I want,
Yeah.
I use my phone, I open the tabs and I see it. So
Yeah.
no notifications during my deep work or during whenever I'm thinking.
Actually, yeah.
This is one thing that I will recommend all my students. If you want to reach Harvard or any dream university, or if you want to do anything in life, be it a UPSC, be it a MBBS, or be it anything, you have to be focused. You can't blame the situation around you.
Yeah.
You have to take hold of the situation and make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
On that, I probably have one more tip for people, and that is like this deep work thing. Maybe start calendarizing your day and have slots of like 2-3 hours of deep work, where you will probably put your phone aside, keep it on silent, do whatever, but you will not look at your phone, and you will just pick up some activity that you're really passionate about, or some work that you want to do, and just get into a flow state and just do that for 2 hours. If 2 hours, 3 hours feel like a stretch, start with 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then sort of get into that. And this is something I've learned from my dad, and I definitely feel everybody should incorporate this in their lives. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prachi. We always get fascinated by the results of the people, what they have achieved, but we never focus on the hard work, what they have done behind the scenes. So the purpose of this podcast was to inform all my students and the parents that being in a Siliguri or any small town, we can achieve big, but we need to have that clarity on what we want to achieve and how to go about that process. We don't want to sacrifice anything, but want big results. So, I mean, I think we are good with the podcast today. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope it adds value to all my students. Thank you, Prachi. Thank you so much.